Welcome to No Shame. Jamie, welcome to No Shame. Episode 95, we're still welcome to No Shame. That's a Dublin thing. Just how it works here. Today I have the Pikeman on again, a reoccurrence, but today he's on as a co-host because what we're going to do is we're going to break down a lot of the fights from the Bellator team that's on this weekend. So huge Bellator card on the 3 Arena. Brian was supposed to be on the card. Fortunately, he'll explain the injury now in a second, but he's not on the card anymore. So we've robbed him as a co-host. Yeah,
good to be here though, Paddy.
You like to be here?
Yeah, it's good to be here.
See suit you. Let's see suit you.
Thanks for it. It does, doesn't it? I feel comfortable. Yeah.
Before I even get into this, alright, but everyone, if you've probably heard about the national news about the wetlands. So in Tallaght, silt got dumped into wetlands that was looked after by Collie Ennis. We actually had Collie Ennis on. He brought spiders and snakes and all in. But Collie Ennis is an ecologist, and he looks after the area in Tallaght, which is the wetlands. It had eels that are endangered. It had 500 species of frogs that bang and get on all year. There's frogs everywhere.
You know what
I mean? But unfortunately, the council, I'm a councillor in the area, we never got any reports. We never knew this was going to happen. They dumped the waste from one of the lakes all over this area, which they had done before. But it turns out that they'd flattened the wildlife, and this area has become kind of uninhabitable for these animals. Some people are saying, why can't you just fix it? Someone's like, well, what we do, resurrect all the bleeding frogs and then bring them back together again. Anyway, but if you've been kind of looking at this, the council released a statement today on it, but there will be another one released, which is a better one that we kind of fought for. And anyway, now I don't blame the council, as I say, there's the people that are sitting in the office doing it, because sometimes, I won't say these mistakes get made, but sometimes shit happens and the person that's getting whacked out for it is not the person that did it at all, Brian.
Yeah.
And that's something we've noticed from being council and all. But and anyway, so Collie, if you want to come on after this when you've found out all the news and we try and make this a positive thing, we're going to try and build this right. The community know it's there now, so we might as well use it.
And awareness for rather than occurring again.
You know what I mean? And instead of like the idea of everyone just like getting out the pitchforks and the thing, that happens a lot with these situations, which is horrible because we can fix. There's no point. It's like fighting.
People want a scapegoat and they're going to start pointing fingers. So
absolutely,
try to put a positive on it. You know what I mean?
Mental. And anyway, so the injury. So you were supposed to be fighting this weekend.
I was, but
bollocks.
Look at it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's a fight game. I've been in it long enough. I've had injuries. I fought with injuries. It was unfortunate. It's a reoccurring injury. Just the timing. I wouldn't have been able to get the correct treatment, and I have to look after my my body at this stage. You know what I mean? I really believe that I'll carry that bantamweight belt, and I'm not going to do it if I keep if I fought on and this week I'm literally going back light sparring tomorrow, so I wouldn't have had a camp. I've done stupid shit like that my whole career. I'm starting to wise up to that.
Be with you.
Yeah. Well, look at this. What it is, I'm excited to sit down and then excited to be there on Friday night to see these guys.
What was the injury?
Remember when I broke my hands?
Okay.
I broke this one 6 times, but I broke this once. We put so much recovery into the one that broke 6 times. Well, this was kind of just left in a splint, and it was the correct decision, but it never fully healed, and it happened in the early stages of camp. I tried my best. I've done everything I possibly could, and I'm getting good treatment on it now, and it's coming right, but just timing was out. You know what I mean? So,
what would you say to young fellas out there now about your tools?
Oh my God, I wish I could go back to young Brian. Well, not even young. I started when I was old enough and just shake him and go cop the fuck on. Because if you might be running late for a training session or whatever it may be, and that doesn't matter. I don't need to wrap my hands. Not wrapping them sparring, not wrapping them on the heavy bag. And you look at boxers. I keep looking back at boxers, and if we look at from an MMA perspective, we would have looked at boxers going, yeah, what they do is kind of prehistoric. So there's a reason why they do all these old school techniques, and it works, and it's been proven. But they are so religious with their hands. They won't touch a thing unless they're wrapped. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that you can't do enough of is wrap your hands, keep them right. You know what I mean? Because you might be fine at 24 years of age. Give that another 6 or 7 years, and your hands will start deteriorating. And
not only that, after the game as well. So after the game, you got the arthritis kicks in. It's because people it's like a sled, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just jump on it and get down to the end of the hill as fast as you can.
We can be short-sighted for sure, but what I'm saying is you got to look after those tools. I'd see so many guys and they don't do enough mobility, and they're giving out that they're super tight, and then they're tearing things that they shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? Look after the body. You're only given one, so why not? But any young pro out there, wrap your hands. Learn how to wrap them properly. Get them wrapped and do them properly. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We emphasised that in the book. So when I was writing the book, the idea was I wanted to try and get the people and give them some sort of foundation in a way that they could kind of read that and be like, oh shit, like this is going to be the first MMA fighter to release a book in Ireland. So the first Irish MMA fighter. So it's kind of like, from this side of the world, this is what it's like. You know what I mean? There's lots of obviously books out in there from other fighters in America and stuff like that. But that's what I wanted to emphasise on, the learning process.
Yeah.
Because there is this kind of perception that like you just know and everybody just knows when they didn't. You know, like even before we went on, the development process that we all went through together was like a like a school, almost, you know what I mean? Like, so it was like a skill learning that works, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
You take this, I'm taking that from you, and we learned off each other.
Yeah,
in that way.
it's like you're looking at guys and you're like, if I could have his cage defense and I could have this guy's takedown, you're like, you'd be a superhero. Do you know what I mean? But we were learning from each other for definite, and it was so cool. But like, that still goes on. Like, you listen to different people in their camps and like world champions. And you, like you say, a world champion could be fighting a contender, and their camps are still so different. Now, when you have two guys that are at the top of the sport, you think they'd have very similar training modules, but they don't. You see different things being used. Like, I was speaking to someone about recovery today. He's in the UFC, and I was like, "Do you do heart rate variability?" He's like, "What's that?" But then he was telling me other things that he does while he's like running. He takes his heart rate there. So there's two completely different things. I take my variability every morning. Well, he does another different recovery module.
He's running. Is he looking at the idea of how quick he recovers?
Yeah, and how quick he can bring his heart rate down. Yes, but he also looks at during running. So if he's doing like this guy runs religiously 30 minutes every morning, so he knows if he's running and his heart rate is like 125 or 130 at a decent pace, he's happy. But if it's at 155, he'll know, right, I need to chill out for the rest of the day.
Okay,
and that's very much he's listening to his body. I'd much rather go off variability. That's going to give me like data. That's going to say, right, you're overtrained. Let's take off a day and let's see how we're recovering. You know what I mean? And I think,
always remember this about you. Like I've said, you say, if someone has it right, it's Brian Moore. You know what I mean? And if someone has it wrong, it's Brian Moore. Because sometimes when you're trying to get it so right, you can be so wrong. I know your nutrition. You like not only that, but they used to stress you out, am I right?
Yeah, no, and like even recently, like when I had my I'm a devil for like, you know, catastrophizing and you know what I mean, procrastinating and or overthinking. And when I was injured, I was like, right, I can't do this, so I'm gonna like schedule everything perfect. And I'd be like spending hours on like an Excel, getting my camp. And you know yourself, a camping is never straightforward. Never. You know, so I think like I've learned a lot like that of definitely letting a lot of flow factors happen. But like for someone like myself, I'm not saying that I do train hard, but there's a lot of guys that train hard, but one thing that I've definitely done is I've overdone it. I've overcooked it. Yeah. So having something or someone to say, hey, you need to take a break here now, is something I always needed, and I've done it for the last few fights. That felt way better as a result, you know what I mean? Rather than, okay, I feel tired, and then the back of my mind going, Brian, you're a pussy. Rather than, no, you're overtrained.
That little voice can kick you sometimes when you shouldn't be kicking you. Do you get what I mean?
It can be beneficial, but it can be that, you know, you're
you use a little trick, right? And I use it myself when I pass to other people. As I said, this is one of the things we probably robbed off you. The idea of, it was actually one of your videos from More Fitness. It was brilliant. Excellent. Anybody that's young out there and you're trying to figure it out, like, well, I don't need all these heart rate monitors and all to figure out whether I'm overtraining. And this is not just for football or for fighting. It's for football, for rugby, for all of this sort of stuff. Even if you're just a dad that goes to work and you're wrecked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it? Explain to us.
So for instance, like you want to pick an exercise that involves very little like technique. So a vertical jump is a perfect example of that. Like a box jump, there's a lot involved. Do you have the correct mobility to land on the box, or your hips going to get in the way? So you'll have some guys who could be like not as good as an athlete as athlete B, but would have a far better box jump because their, you know, mobility is better.
Yeah.
Vertical jump is jumping in the air. Yeah, like a vertical jump is simply jumping in the air. There's not much technique involved. So basically, you can get like all these fancy apparatus, but you don't need anything. You just lick your finger, jump, tip the wall. You know what I mean? And then you'll see where it is. Go up and make a little pen mark of that's my height jump. So maybe that was on Monday. Maybe the next Monday you're ready to start training again. You're maybe feeling a little bit tired. Maybe you're feeling great. Do the vertical jump test. If you're in around the same, well, then your body is pretty much recovered. There's not much technique involved, just a lot of explosive power. But if it's well down, maybe then you should take a couple of days off.
Would you get that little voice messing with you like, oh jeez, I can't do it, I want a day off?
Yeah, jump you pussy.
No,
like before I would have got like before because we were all learning too, and then and you're a lot of you is thinking, you know, the harder you push, the better you're going to get, and that does. You know, that is true in a lot of circumstances, but I've definitely learned over the years to pull it back when necessary. And, you know, I think that'd be great advice to give any young guy,
absolutely,
young girl.
Figuring out it. And another thing I wanted to say to you is probably even before we get into breaking down this card, the idea of when you get injured, you're working for yourself. It's like being woke. It's like being self-employed in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because people don't understand that getting injured is not just you're at home hurt and a little bit depressed because you can't fight now.
Yeah.
It's financial as well as can be the situation where it's like, well, I'm not getting paid now because I'm hurt. So it's a huge part of looking after your body, your nutrition and your recovery, because if it does get to the stage when you're getting paid and you're making a living out of it, like you are, you've built your house, you have your farm, you're living the dream, Brian. And I remember you're not living the dream out look, because I remember you sitting there going, oh, they'll be living the dream.
I know what you mean. But look at it, I've been very fortunate that I have a massive support network, you know what I mean? Like my wife is incredible, you know, but I don't know, like if you look at my record, you're probably going to go, you know, he's 12-7, but you know, look closely, I've been fighting.
Fought the moment. You're a real motherfucker.
Yeah, I'd like to think that, but what I don't want to do one day is for, like, I want to be able to tell my kids and my grandkids, and I don't want someone with little person with big eyes going, did you fight everyone you were asked to fight? No, look, anyone who I've ever been asked to fight, I fought, and you know, whatever, I'll keep going until I'm, you know, world champ. I feel I can get in there with anyone. I was recently speaking to Ricky Bandejas on Twitter in a very respectful way. I really respect that guy. Both of us are mad to fight. This would be a fantastic fight. I think two guys that you know, love a scrap, but you know what I mean? Like, he's, in my eyes, an elite fighter, but I reckon I'll beat that guy. Do you know what I mean? That's the level I'm at. But it took those 12-7 to be here right now, and to, you know.
I think anybody that looks at the numbers of this is kind of confused with the old boxing game, the old game of like where you know, the building the numbers. That's where it comes from. You know,
it is seeping into MMA though more and more.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Listen, I know there's a lot of stuff sleeping into MMA where, not that I don't like it, and people will go, oh, you're a hater. Not a hater, I'm just somebody that like really likes the sport, like I do with a garden, and I like to keep it though.
Yeah,
you know?
You see, we're old, Paddy, too. No, but we like things not to change, and like I do, like for instance, when we were on the scene, when we first started off, like I remember being 3-0 or 4-0, and basically, what was the general consensus? You win one big fight and you're on the big show. So you were taking every big fight you could, and there was no, like, I was offered guys that weren't amazing, and then I'd be offered guys that were really good, and I'd always pick the really good guy because that one fight could change your life. That's how what we thought. Now there's because the game has developed, the sport has developed. There's a tier people can start and build up, and I fully like that, but I do also like the fact that guys will just jump in and fight whoever, whenever, because that's
the next guy in line. Like it's like you know, if you're playing Knockout Kings or something like that, it's like it's the next guy on the list.
Yeah.
So like, to me, it should go back to that. It should go back to the next guy on the list. Like if somebody's fighting somebody and you look at the list and they're not on the list, they probably shouldn't be fighting them. Yeah,
but there's other ways of looking at, like we talked about recovery and we talked about technique. That's the sport part of it, but like the actual fighting, like that just always has been to me that you'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere, because you just, you know, you just try put it in real terms. You try put it on the street or a battlefield or whatever it may be, and a guy puts his finger in your chest. What are you going to do? You're going to go, no, I'm not ready. I haven't had, you know. So there's that part of it too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. And like on the byproduct of, I say, contradicting myself there on the ideas, sometimes it gives the chance for that underdog to be like, if you look at your man Masvidal now, I'm not saying he's an underdog, but like 2 fights in and now he's one of the biggest names in the world. I
love that fight for that exact reason. Those two. I love that fight. I love that fight for 2 reasons. You've got like those lads that are in the game so long that were never really given their. So it's like Diaz when he kind of got his, you know, recognition when he fought Conor, and Masvidal still didn't. They're fighting on back streets, and now they're getting paid big money. It's just class to see.
Change the life money.
Those, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and people think that all the money is changing life money, but it's not.
It's not.
You know what I mean? No. Like if it was a boxing bout, say this card the weekend, if this was a boxing card, like in Ireland a lot, like most people on this, especially the SBG guys, mostly is SBG, but the guys that are on this would be well recognised as like Michael Connolly and these guys. Now if this was boxing and they were doing a main event in there, they'd be going home to buy a house.
For sure.
Now, not that listen, obviously the money is better than most of the other organisations, but a lot of people feel like Masvidal and stuff like that, they've built up that money fight again, haven't they? They've got the idea of like changing their family's lives.
For sure. And like what I love about it is that they didn't do the route of they didn't change who they were. They didn't do the route of Colby Covington, which is, you know, it's annoying. They just fought their fighters, do you know what I mean? And they kept fighting, kept sticking in there, and now they have this big money fight. That's why I just love seeing that, you know what I mean? And I love Diaz and I love Masvidal, so I can't wait to see him going.
That's the difference between MMA, I think, and boxing, and the idea is like, we're gonna see a scrap here. And like, I don't really care who wins, but I don't.
Neither do I. I just want to see a good fight. That's all. And you know something, I think both of them will, like, they'll be, whoever loses will be heartbroken, but I think they'll also kind of have that, like, we were in a big fight, we got paid, and you know people enjoyed it. I think that's a big part of it too. Like I know the wins are important, and I think, you know, but I think both of those will be satisfied with it anyway. You know what I mean? Obviously both want to win, but I think they'll be satisfied with the fact that like the fans will get what they want to, and they're getting paid. So
I would love the idea of, like, not that I've never always left it in there, but the idea of like, I'm coming out here and I'm set for life now.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, I don't care if I break my head. Do you know what I mean?
I know, but like I often like you know, we just think again catastrophizing, but I always thought if I got this big mad fight and I got paid millions, that kind of scares me too, because I think it'll make you complacent with a lot of things in your life. Like what am I going to do? Sit out my back, like fucking getting fat and do, you know what I mean? I want to still.
Back's about 1,800 acres.
But I don't want
his neighbours is the sea. But you ain't there, which is the good thing.
Yeah, but I don't want to, like, imagine if not that big money fights are there, whatever that. But imagine if you had a big money fight, you're set. I think you can get lazy, and then like that'll kind of feed into what your kids will see. And I always want to be like hungry. Do you know what I mean? I want to have a goal for something. Like, look, you're finished fighting, but look what you're doing. You're fucking non-stop.
I'm a freak. I'm a freak for it, you know what I mean? Like, she'd just be like, why don't you just stop? And I'm like, I can't.
Are you still doing the sleep pattern where you don't sleep for
I'm over that. Me and Brian, I was on a thing for a little while. I used to mess with everything, you know what I mean? But the mad thing is, that could have worked.
Yeah, possibly.
You know what I mean? I couldn't sleep at night. I could never sleep at night. So I used to do sleep cycling. Or like, not cycling, but I used to stay up for 48 hours and sleep for 24.
48 hours, remember.
But the idea is I could train, Brian. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could train, like, so I train, and like, even at night time, I'm like, I'm moving around, I'm sitting around, I'm doing like sit down workouts, and I'm like, and then the sun's coming up and I'm having my breakfast, and it's great.
Yeah, there's something about, though, like, even like if I was doing work and I was like, I don't know, starting a new service, or I was doing whatever, there's something great about, like, you know, getting stuck into work at midnight. I often get most of my, like, better, I think better at that time.
About that.
You know, and plus you've no answering emails, phone calls, everyone's asleep, so you have your own time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think I'm going to go to live in that time. You know what I mean? So let's start breaking this down. Anyway, so get your betting slips ready. We've got an expert here. So the first fight we'll break down, Dylan Logan and Adam Gustab. I know Dylan a long time. Actually, I brought Dylan out to Iceland with me. When the time I retired, at the same time I was training for a fight, but we were living in an apartment together. Dylan's a good guy. I love Dylan. He's only had to having a baby as well. Now Adam Gustab is the guy that comes and fights. We've got a guy here that's 3-3, which is Dylan Logan. We have Adam Gustab, which is 4-4.
Yeah, you got a classic example of, you know, how records can be deceiving. Dylan Logan is extremely well rounded. Now Adam Gustab, he surprised many people by hanging in there with Richie Smullen the last day. You know, he's well versed, but Logan he's so tricky everywhere. He's slick everywhere. So it's an interesting fight, but you know, 3-3 does not represent what Dylan Logan's about. And I think that he's kind of on a crest of a wave. Add to the fact that he's just after having a kid. That always has a positive impact. Always. You know what I mean? Now you have more of a purpose. Now, for me, what I've done is, no matter what happened in the fight, I'm going home to my kids. And I think this will be a thing as well. But both of them are young and hungry, you know. And again, whoever wins this fight takes a big step up next. You know what I mean? They're under a prelim now, but you know, Gustab can get right in there and rebound off a tough loss, while Dylan could now go 2 in a row, 2 on Bellator. So it's a great fight for both you guys, and I think it's an evenly matched contest too.
There's an extremely good energy there, I think, from Dylan Logan, as you said, coming in, just after becoming a father.
Yeah.
Just the idea of like going home to your daughter for the first time. It's like, I kind of feel old saying that. Do you feel old saying that? Because you're like, I did it a few times, you know. But now this is his first time doing it.
It is, but I've even seen, like, I've seen this in Dylan. I've seen a change. Dylan was always skilled, like very good. But I always questioned his work ethic. You know, was he conditioned enough? I seen him losing a fight where he gassed. That won't happen now. Yep. He's so tunnel visioned. He's so like amped up for this. You know, I was talking to Money on the way over in the gyms before over there. Super calm. He's really up for this. You know what I mean? So I think he's hungry now. You know, he's on better money than he was fighting on the local scenes. He's a young family. I think this could be his biggest performance.
His maturity and Adam as well, as you just said, you noticed that with Richie Smullen. Richie Smullen is a hard lad to be hanging in there with, you know what I mean?
Richie Smullen is a black belt with a brown belt around his waist. He's an animal. Like it's hard to kind of, if someone looks at his last performance, they're going to go, yeah, he's good on the ground. No, he's great on the ground.
It's amazing. It feels like a wet blanket stapled to your back, like, sure. You know what I mean?
I think I'll probably ask Richie more questions about the ground than anyone else, because I love his perspective on things. And you look at what Adam was able to stick in there for 15 minutes. Now, you know, I don't know, was Adam very good that night? Did Richie not like put the foot down? I think when we get on to speak about that, onto Richie's fight next. But at the end of the day, he did go 15 minutes Richie Smullen, so he'll be a hard task to. Yeah.
And when you see the fights that Richie Smullen had before that, where if he got people into that footlock position and stuff like that, he just finished them. You know what I mean?
If there's a few standout performances. One is Richie when he fought this guy in Liverpool. I can't think of the guy's name. The guy was a really good amateur. I think it was Richie's last amateur fight. I slept
in Dublin airport for an hour before that and then flew over to him.
I was trying to imagine what that poor lad went through.
And he was a tough kid.
He was very good.
I can't remember his name.
I hope he's still fighting, because that's the kind of fight that could just, I'm not doing this anymore. Richie was so dominant. It was probably the most dominant performance I've ever seen. But anyway, if Richie comes out with that kind of mindset to finish, because I think he'll be eager for the finish. I know we're moving on to it from a fight now, but you know. But anyway, Gustab was able to hang in there for the 15. Dylan, I think, is going to see a new Dylan come out, so it's going to be a.
And then you have so welterweight bout here. We have we've Keith McCabe versus Philip Mulpeter. Now Philip Mulpeter is a legend back in the day who probably should have been on Bellator since the day it landed in Ireland.
Luckily enough, I'm cornering Philip for this fight, and I cannot wait. And for me it matters a lot, because you know we all of us that started. You know what I mean? We got our shot with her on a big show. Yep. And this man is a man who should have got a shot a long, long time ago. He's been in the best fights in Irish MMA ever. And he was in like top 3, he's in the top 2. Do you know what I mean? Of the 3 best fights of all time.
In 2 fights, he done 10 rounds.
Yeah. And like got paid like tuppence for it. Like, you know, now he's on a bigger show. Again, someone who's ever having a kid as well, but he'll be up for this. You know what I mean? I can't wait. Like, I think it's going to be his coming out party, and I think he could make big steps. I don't know whether his plan is to stay at welter or to go at lightweight, but either or, I think he'll make a big impact. But Keith McCabe, a black belt. He's 4-1, but you look at his last performance. I think Keith was just a slow starter in his career. I think his first couple of fights, he didn't look great, but in his last couple of fights, he's looked excellent. You know, he lost the decision on very short notice against the UFC and tricky vet in Bufando, and he looked very good in, I think, the second or third, and I can't remember, but you know, he's at a camp this time. And he's fighting a very hungry Philip Mulpeter, so there's another great card. Do you
think there'd be a motivating factor that Keith McCabe has fought a few of Phil's teammates, guys that Phil has sparred with, and they have got the victory over Keith?
They have the victory over Keith, but I think Keith has progressed an awful lot since then.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Keith, is it Kiefer that has an amateur? Is it an amateur victory?
Kiefer has an amateur.
Beautiful liver kick.
Yes, and then
it's on a battle zone.
Yeah, that's right. And then Richard Queally has a knee knockout.
To the body.
I think they were both pro debuts, if I'm correct. When they fought that, maybe I'm wrong, but
you might be right.
But I remember seeing Keith in his last fight, and I remember that fight with Richard Queally. Now Queally's obviously improved an awful lot since, but the two, like the McCabe from back then to the McCabe in his last fight, are like 2 totally different animals. So you can expect Keith you can expect both guys to be well up for it and well, you know,
because there is obviously going to be an element where these guys want to beat the guys now. These guys want to beat, especially the SBG guys that are coming through, because they're thinking like, not on my watch, you know what I mean? In a way, it's going to be that added energy of like nothing to lose if you must, you know what I mean? I'm actually excited for that fight, but Philip Mulpeter deserves to be having his shot in there now, and I think people are going to be shocked.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Philip, just Google him or YouTube his fights, and then you will make sure to be there on time for this fight, because this is going to, he's such a warrior, but he's so skilled. Do you know what I mean? I just want to see him to showcase what all he can do, because
he should have been here way before now, I think, you know, for sure. If anybody on the card should have been here from way before now, should have been.
But I think more so life got in the way than anything else with Phil, you know what I mean? Different things, he would have had a hiatus here or there, you know, and I think now, you know, he's after opening up a gym that's really successful, I think he doesn't need to worry about having to go to work, as in like he used to take time off training to go and
Well, I think he just had he had a tough fight against Ali Irish. So Ali Irish, I think he got the win against as well.
Oh yeah, he looks
Ali
phenomenal.
Irish and then
very lucky against Dalby, and Dalby
just went to sign for the UFC as well.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So I think even the break in between that, but then he was definitely on the road again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Sorry,
the tires were on the ground.
Yeah, for definite. But like he's been able to focus on MMA for a long time now. While before, when he was on where I felt like he was on a crest of a wave of doing something big, he'd have to take time off the sport and kind of lost momentum, I suppose.
I don't want to keep him at welterweight. I'd love to see him at welterweight staying there because I don't think lightweight suits him. Just from back in the day.
But do you reckon with a smart cut it would suit? I
think there's a huge gap between 77 and 70. It's
too big.
You know,
and sometimes perfect 73.
It can be a kilo or 2 kilo, just too far on that reach. You know what I mean? So moving on to
Paddy. Before, for anyone who hasn't seen it, Philip Mulpeter episode 36.
Oh yeah, we had Philip Mulpeter on. If you haven't seen that,
woo! All I want to do, I heard that and I was like, yeah, I need to do DMT in my lifetime. So
yeah, if you haven't seen that, make sure you check out that episode, especially before this night, because you're going to be looking at him going, "Go on, Phil!" He's one of us. So 2 monsters, Lee Chadwick and Karl.
Yeah.
So Lee Chadwick obviously being extremely experienced.
Yeah,
he's an absolute veteran.
Yeah. Yeah, and 2 guys who I've stood beside and went, holy shit. No, really. I met Karl Moore and I was like, he looked big in pictures and I seen in real life. I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Way bigger than I thought. And I fought on the same card as Chadwick on the last one. Chadwick's super experienced. He's a little bit hot and cold. He'll always give a good display of himself. But against Fabian Edwards, for instance, he lost that fight. Fabian is very good.
Very.
But I thought he'd drag Fabian into deeper waters, but he was unable to. Now, Fabian, extremely skilled. But in his last fight, he fought... I'm annoyed now, I can't think of this guy's name. Again, a very experienced guy, and he won that fight. So he comes in and he'll always give a good account of himself, but Karl is a big man too. It's going to be hard to move him around.
I couldn't see... Karl had to be tired before you're doing anything, you know what I mean? So I couldn't see the idea of you going in and just being able to kind of like pick him up and throw him down if you must, you know what I mean?
No,
if you had a digger, maybe.
Yeah, JCB. But that's kind of Lee's game, isn't it? He's a tight guard, he rushes in, he'll put you against the fence. He always, like... If I'm ever like cage side looking at him fight, I always go like that when he drives someone against the fence because you feel like he's going to come through the fence. You know what I mean?
You know what? I always get that with big lads too as well. It's like the cage kind of tilts up and then goes back down on the other side.
When we do it, just doesn't flinch. Just like, oh,
no, it doesn't. I don't even change the bleeding. We go through the gaps. You know what I mean? Put me back in. Throw me back in. And then the next fight we have, which is this could be a kickboxing match or a Thai boxing match anywhere in the world. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, Ilias Bulaid versus Maiboroda.
Vitalic.
Yeah, Vitalic. He's a K1 background, but Ilias Bulaid is one of the elite of the elite when it comes to K1.
Is what they call him, isn't it?
If you're in Vitalic's corner, you're just going to hope he has a good double leg, put it that way. You know what I mean? Without sounding too biased or anything like that, I just think Ilias' striking is on a different level. Now, he has to get used to 4-ounce gloves.
Absolutely.
That's a big factor too. You see guys coming in on big promotions and they're not used to the guard with a 4-ounce glove, and it can play a part, but this guy's pro debut too, so it'll be an interesting one. It'll be, but then you've got 2 strikers. How often do you think you're going to see this, like, showcase and ends up in a grappling match? This often happens too, but...
Do you think it's strange that we're watching 2 guys making their pro debut on this? On
a big show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And usually I'm not a fan of it because I think people should be earning their stripes on the local scene. However, Ilias, look at what he's done in his K1 career. He's bringing all of that experience. He's not just a pro debut. He's a guy who's making his pro debut as an extensive background in I think he has nearly 200 fights. Is that right?
Okay, one probably, yeah.
It's crazy what he
I think it's Lara Bourne that looks after him. Shout out to Lara's sound he is.
Yeah, I met Lara in Thailand. Actually, was the first time.
The reason why I would say is it weird because do the fans probably get kind of I don't know, deprived of seeing their true beauty because now they're walking out into the Tree Arena and it's like a big huge show. It's their pro debut. You've got to deal with like MMA gloves, takedowns, all of this stuff. The fans that are coming to watch it now, are they not kind of in a situation where they're going to watch these guys maybe get caught in the lights a little bit? Is there a chance of it?
I don't think with Ilias, no, because he's had well over 100 fights. He's doing it since he was like 6 or 7.
Someone's trying to take you down though, you know yourself.
Yeah,
it's a different energy.
It is. But then again, you got two guys who are on their pro debuts. How hungry would you be
Oh,
to be
absolutely.
fighting on a big show straight off the bat? You know, look at it's. I always like when someone's making a pro debut on a much smaller show, a much smaller setting, getting paid, staying hungry, just getting paid not much, staying hungry, fighting in front of a couple of hundred people, and just earning your stripes and building up a record to get into a big show. I'd much prefer that format, but I can understand the reasoning behind this.
Yeah,
You know,
so could I.
yeah.
I get paid more, and I'm in here. No,
But from a promotional perspective
Absolutely.
too,
Yeah.
you got Ilias, who's you know.
well, there's a lot of people in
massive.
the world. But you think of that whole side of that world, the whole side of the kickboxing world, or that world, they're going to be looking in
Big time.
You know what I mean? It'd be
Big
like
time.
an MMA fighter going and fighting in a big, huge, the biggest K1 promotion or the
Exactly.
Thai promotion in the world.
Yeah.
You're going to bring the whole MMA fans over. Now, they probably would have been watching, but you'll get all of them over.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, say the time, not like, obviously, it's a bad comparison, but when Conor went over to boxing, you're going to, every MMA fan is watching that, and every boxing fan, and probably every combat sports fan as well.
Yeah, it's
So
smart
that does have that
marketing.
factor. It does have that factor. So we'll go to Richie Smullen and Sean Tobin.
Yeah.
I think if you sign a contract against Richie Smullen, you're in for a heavy night no matter what.
Yeah. Look at it's. You've got two guys who've been coming up on the you know the domestic scene for quite a while. We know both guys, so it's great to see them. You know what I mean, fighting on a big show in Ireland against each other. Even though I don't like when Irish guys fight Irish guys on a big show, but look
I
at
know.
however. But look, Sean, he's 6-3. He's a very skilled guy. He's got a great double leg, but. You know, when you're taking a guy down who's a shark, you know what I mean? It's like it's like, you know, fighting a shark and I'm going to throw you into water to fight the shark. Doesn't
Yeah.
really make sense.
Yeah.
You're probably better off than to grab that shark
Trying to keep
on
him at a
land.
distance. I think the idea would be, I think Sean Tobin he knows that too as well. You know, he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be bulling in there and taking and Richie out. I think the game plan will be to try and keep a standing and try and keep the distance as well.
I would have thought that too. However, I have thought about this fight like a few times in my head, and like you go back to what you're used to. You go back to your instinct, and you see Sean Tobin. He's a great double leg. I think you know he gets tagged with a leg kick, gets tagged with a jab, whatever it may be. That instinct could kick in. And then you could be in a world of
that's a
trouble
good
too.
point.
You
That's
know?
a good point,
And
yeah.
again, you talked about the bright lights. You talked about this is his biggest show that he'll have fought on. You know, there's so many ways this can go. Maybe Richie will keep his stand, and he's been working hard on the stand up. You don't know. You know what I mean?
And Richie's one of these guys that swings that overhand right, and all of a sudden he sparks, but he's heavy handed. Do you know what I mean?
Very heavy handed, and he has a thunderous leg kick too. So you know.
Stop. It's like getting hit with a tree, that thing is, isn't it?
It is.
And I'd say it's only got been heavier over the years. So someone I've been dying to see make their pro debut, and do you know what? An absolute workhorse, a man that deserves it, you know, is Kieran Clark.
And you hit the nail on the head with workhorse. And I love the fact that he's making his debut now, a pro debut. He had like a 12-9, I think, or 12-7 amateur career. He's seen every now and amateur. He's seen the wins and the losses. He's had to travel to fights. He's had to cut weight. He's had all the ups and downs and bullshit that comes with all MMA. And now he's making his pro debut. And I'm really excited to see this.
He is, to me, is what the blueprint of what you should have to do.
Absolutely.
You know? And the thing is, right, as I said, call me a hater, call me what you want. I don't give a fuck. Call it to me Gustab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the idea of someone that has came through the IMAF Worlds, the Europeans, has fought, has won, has lost, has fought guys. I done Kieran's corner in England, and he fought a really good kid. I can't remember his name, but Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Hutchinson he fought. Really good kid. And the two of them I think it was 3-0 at the time, the two of them, and it was a barn burner. It was probably probably one of the best amateur level fights I've seen ever. It was.
But that's the way amateurs gone. If you're a top amateur, you're better than most early pros. I was talking to a teammate of mine who was kind of on the fringes of going pro, and I said to him, I goes, he's fighting good amateurs. And I said, look, man, there's no difference in level if you take if you're fighting a 1-0 or 2-0 pro. That's just the way they are. But these two guys, Courtney himself has a really impressive amateur record. So you're going to have two of the best amateurs to come out of Ireland and fighting each other, which is great. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm contradicting myself by pro debuts probably should be made on a lower, but these guys worked for it. These guys really worked for it.
These are high level amateurs. The idea of these would be like the equivalent of Olympic level amateurs coming in to make a pro debut.
That's great.
It's fights like this that I would point to when guys say say guys just they don't kind of rate the amateur scene and they just jump pro because they want the lights, they want the name, they want the money, all of that stuff to come with it. they don't have the excuses saying, no, I can't fight that top guy because I didn't do an amateur career. That's your own fault, mate.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, no, 100%. You actually are. But the thing that you use the word workhorse with Kieran, and you can see the work that he puts in on the gym floor, but there's all the little bit of travelling that he had to travel, the hours. It's all come to this point, and I'm excited to see that end of it too. And obviously Courtney, he's worked really hard himself to get to this point. So, it's a great card. This would make a great headline for any domestic card.
Absolutely. This could be, as I said, a pro debut for Kieran and against Courtney on a headline and battle zone. Could
Absolutely,
be definitely. Another, I won't say workhorse, but I say absolute psychopath freak for work.
Yeah.
And a credible story, Danny Nealon.
I was literally going to pair, and when you asked me to come on this, I was like, I think I'm going to pair Danny and Kieran to the same kind of story. Because they're like the same guys, but only one's a female, one's a male. But
if you don't know Danny Nealon's story, but Danny Nealon was started off as a weight loss journey. And now she's making her pro debut.
She's big into equestrian sports as well.
Yes.
I think she was kind of big into that. But then she's wanted to give MMA a go, and she has that thing inside her where if she's going to give it a go, she's going to give it 100%.
Absolutely. She on her Instagram, she's doing workouts with her boyfriend in the sit room, shadow boxing, and this crazy stuff that goes on.
She's like a team of people sparring her.
That's what I mean.
So,
but she has kind of took a lot of responsibility on her own. I think in the idea I think she took some advice along the road of people, and now she's taking responsibility.
Yeah.
So and you see it as she spreads her training around, and she goes for what is benefiting her.
Yeah. For the girl she's fighting is a tough lady.
That's what I was about to say. What do we know about the girl she's fighting?
She's more experienced for sure. She's heavy hands. It'll be like every fight on this card. I have to say, Jude Samuel, give him a shout out because he's matched everything pretty good here. I have to say, it's the last card got a bit of it got a bit of criticism online. Whoever listens to online criticism, what it did about mismatches here and there. There's no one can argue about this card being any mismatches.
But the last card, I will say, the idea is I don't want to turn up watching Brazil playing Ackland Stanley.
Yeah,
I want to turn up and not know who wins. Do you know what I mean? I need to be.
This is the card to go to. Simple as that. And with that, maybe you could be tempted as a promotion to push Danny. She's a female. She could make big waves in there.
Yes,
they could feed her someone who's not good, but this girl is very good. So you've got. But either way, Bellator are going to win because they're going to have a good level. Whoever comes out of this, you know what I mean, to push on to the next step.
And sadly enough, I won't say this, but it sounds like kind of rootless to say this, but I like the sport when it's like that. I like the idea of the entertainment aspect of fighting. To me, it's a sick one, really, because we all go and buy beer and watch somebody take the next step in their life forward, and we want to watch the other person take the next step back.
Yeah, but that's what fighting is. That's what it should be. You know what I mean? I love the sport now, but there's a lot of, there's a circus a lot of the time. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. But, fights like this is what gets me interested. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm cornering Philip for this, and after that, I am sitting my ass down and watching every single fight because they're all so interesting,
I couldn't think of anything else better to be doing.
No.
They're one of my homies, Franz Malambo versus Dominic Wooden. To me, this is the fight of the night.
Oh, you just said that. You took the words out of my mouth. For this, obviously, Franz is a teammate and he's a friend, but I'm going to just try to take a big step back and just look at it from a fan only. This is fight of the night. You got two guys, not even just talk about striking. Let's just look at boxing. High level boxers. You put them in 10-ounce gloves and baggy shorts, and you're going to see a fantastic boxing, high level boxing bout. But then you've got the other factors too. Franz has made an enormous leap with his submission game. He's recently submitted Nathan Grayson. I predicted that he was going to guillotine him, and that's what he did because he looked so good in training, and it just came out of nowhere. Obviously he's been training a long time, but he just made this big giant
he's
leap.
on the curve.
Absolutely.
The upward curve.
But I seen Dominic in Birmingham. I fought on the same show as him, and I always seen him as a boxer, but he has fantastic kicks. He's a very well-rounded game, very hard guy to take down. Where this fight goes, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Who's going to shoot for a takedown when you've got that kind of lead in your hands? And both guys will be kind of having, I think they'll have that, no, I'm the better striker.
Absolutely.
I'm the better striker.
Yes, this is what I was thinking as well. I was thinking the two of them are going to be like, not a chance, I'm not going to take a step backwards. Now, with saying that, if you get hit with Francis' pistol hand, it's like a right hand.
For sure, but Dominic has bombs too. So
absolutely. And elbows, good elbows.
Yeah, good elbows. The way I was seeing this, both of them are excellent boxers. Both of them switch stances. Both of them are so tricky. So who has the better timing? Who has the better distance? Who has the better leverage? But also, who's going to implement other factors? Franz, I think, has the upper hand on the grappling. Well, I think Dominic has better kicks. So which of them plays the part?
Which plays the part? Yeah, no, that's definitely a fight that I'm mad excited about.
Yeah.
The women's featherweight belt coming up. So you obviously have a massive superstar, which is in Leah McCourt.
Yeah.
Leah is a massive superstar, and she not the idea of like she has crawled her way up. She is like she drives to Dublin 2 hours to Roddy's place, and then she drives 2 hours back.
Wonder what that's like.
4 hours. Yeah, that's right. But no, man, it does that. Yeah. But the Wexford drive is so much better,
isn't it? Yeah.
You know what I mean? What a boring shit drive that M1 is, or whatever it is.
Stop.
Sorry, Lee. Yeah. Make sure you get them towels as well. Leah, isn't it? I'm a fucker for this. Sorry, did it again. Leah McCourt.
Did you not say Lee? I thought you did.
Did I?
You did the first time.
Did I? And then I said Lee. I say Lee to her face and she hates me for it. Yeah, Leah. Sorry. Leah McCourt. I've been doing it all my life. I call Niall Neil as well. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Happens.
What do you think's going on here? Kerry Hughes?
Kerry with 7 fights, you know what I mean? I haven't seen too much of Kerry, but what I have seen, big overhand right, dangerous boxing. But Leah is very well versed, you know what I mean? And she's training under Owen Roddy, do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's Owen for me is one of the best and most underrated coaches in the world. You know what I mean? Fantastic striking coach, but also fantastic grappling coach. And I think he'll have a good game plan put in place for this. I think he'll have Leah in tip top shape for it. And you know, it's Bellator are putting a lot of promotion behind Leah to see the superstar that she could become. And the biggest thing about that featherweight division in the female category is you win 2 fights or 3 fights in a row, you're in title contention. You know what I mean? So you have Leah who's on the cusp of doing something big, while you have Kerry who could knock Leah out and get a contract and change her life for the better. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So, but if I was a betting man, I do pick Leah in this fight. Yeah,
me too, definitely. Yeah, Leah McCourt will be on my. Do
you know what's going to be interesting? I thought that she could have finished her last fight. Now I could have finished my last fight too. So I'm trying to be
outsider.
An outsider, but I'd like to see with the small, simple adjustments that she could have made. Will she do them in this fight? Which I think she will, because she's a real good athlete, and like she's been in the judo game for a long time. She's been a competitor in jiu-jitsu, and now she's in MMA for a long time. So I think that,
and the IMMAF as well. She's a gold medalist in the IMMAF as well. So I don't think the records they display themselves, but I have to say Jude Samuel did a good job. Where if you're going to get somebody that has less pro fights, someone that has more pro fights, when you put the amateur in, it literally levels this one off.
Yeah, and like, you know, you don't see many knockout artists in women's MMA. I'm being honest, and Kerry does possess that power. So you know, let's see how that goes down. But for me, Leah gets a takedown. I think she lands more vicious ground and pound. I think the last one, that was probably the only critique. She could have like postured up and dropped heavy elbows rather than smaller shots. Yeah. And I think the referee would have been very quick to step in. I think she takes her down, and elbows are to get the stoppage.
Yeah, myself, Leah and that one. Norbert versus Will Fleury.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this because obviously Will is a teammate of mine, but I've been on the same show once anyway with Norbert. One thing that really stands out for me, I don't like talking about size because it shouldn't really come down to size when you're at this level, but
he's a massive man.
Will is enormous. Yeah. When Will told me he was fighting this guy, I was like, nah, you couldn't be. Sure, he's a welterweight. No, he's definitely smaller than you, Will. No, he's not. No. I stood beside 2 men. Will is massive. I just can't. I don't know how he makes the middleweight.
We've had Will on as well, haven't we?
Yeah. I really enjoyed the episode too. Another workhorse. I love Will because Will tell you the workouts he's done, and we kind of share workouts, and as he's telling me, I'm like, holy shit, that was horrendous. You know, the work that he puts himself through. I think that comes from his rugby background, you know, that strength and conditioning based.
Or the fact that his mum and dad are antique dealers.
That was so interesting.
Which is probably the most kind of MMA background that you could ever have. That's what he said to him. You're the only one with that story, Will.
Yeah, 100%. I was so happy to hear it. I was just doing work out the back, and I had the headphones listening to the podcast, and I thought I knew Will pretty well. I didn't at all. But like, you got Norbert, who's actually the son of an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and so his wrestling background is really good. But when I seen him first, I had no idea about that. And I was like, yeah, he's a slick striker. I seen him, I was warming up in the same rooms as him in Budapest. I was like, yeah, this guy, I bet you'll get the stoppage. Since then, I've seen him like suplex guys into oblivion. And you know yourself, you might have a size advantage, but if you suplex, you know, a wrestling technique, that overpowers strength.
if your technique is good in wrestling, I won't say your size doesn't matter, but it definitely doesn't matter as much.
No, it certainly doesn't. Like, and he could have that wrestling strength that that
And the
wrestlers are
conditioning
famous
that
for.
comes from that as well. And not only that, if your dad's an Olympic gold medal, as you just said there, like I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, you're going to be practicing arm drag since you were 2. In your nappies, you know what take
think about what you're doing. Like we your little ones, I'm doing my little ones. Where it's in you to kind of like program them. Not that they're like, I wouldn't fancy standing outside a cage, to be honest, with one of my kids in there. Would you?
No, I won't.
Imagine the panic of that. Like I can't even do it with a bleeding teammate. All my own
it's
students,
tough.
they'd be panicking with you. But that's how it goes.
But Will is like he's 6-1. He's on a 2-fight win streak now, and he's looked very dominant in his last 2 fights. You know, he puts another dominant display on Friday night, and the middleweight division is not that deep. He could find himself just outside the fringes of a top 5, and then looking at a big fight like early 2020.
Fight for that belt.
I think he'll fight for that belt, but maybe not. Maybe it'll take a couple of more fights after this. You know,
6-1 now.
6-1, yeah. Like he's 2-0 in his last 2 fights. Maybe it'll take another couple. Or do you know what it might take? Beat this guy and then beat someone that everyone knows. You know, a household name in the middleweight
I
division.
think that fight is right. That's a good fight. You know what I mean?
It's a very good fight, and 2 of them are former teammates as well. Interestingly enough, they actually trained for years together in London Shoot Fighters.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so they know each other.
They know each other well, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I think to Norbert's his credit, I think he was pretty young when Will was training. I think he was like a late teen. You know, it's been a few years since Will trained there. So, but that's another really like good dynamic going into this that I can't wait to see, because that definitely would play a part. You know what I mean?
Hurler versus the wrestler. That's what we have here. So the co-main event, because obviously there's going to be there's a
2 cards.
there's the Sky Sports broadcast and the Paramount Network broadcast, which is different than what so it's like 2 cards.
2
Is that
main,
what I'm
yeah.
saying, right?
That's it.
So this one is Kiefer Crosby versus Hugo.
Yeah, Kiefer again has had a late replacement opponent. So, you know, but I think he's the way Kiefer trains, he trains for himself. He doesn't really train to game plan. And the thing with Kiefer, I think certain people need to do that. I think certain people need to have a strategy in their head. But the thing with Kiefer, he's super well rounded. He's very slick everywhere. He's slick on the feet. He's very slick on the ground. I think no matter who to put him against, he's going to just play to his strengths. You know what I mean? And the Hugo, as far as I know, is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. You know, he's 4-2. You know, mightn't tell the whole tale. You know what I mean? And obviously, if you're coming in, like he's a Portuguese fighter, you're coming in to fighting the Tree Arena in front of it's all the pressure.
There's 2 ways this goes. This is what I keep saying to people. Like when someone comes in early, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easier. You know, sometimes that means it's actually going to be harder because the other person has nothing to lose. Not only that, they haven't set for 8 weeks. Worrying about this, where if you kind of take away the I don't know, the consequences aspect of it, you can create powerfulness.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely. Like he might go, you know something, I'm going to put all the pressures on Kiefer for this one. For me, I'm going to make weight and I'm just going to go in and have fun, and that could be the perfect mindset for it. But I just think Kiefer and his professional approach and his diligence to work so hard in every area, I think he takes this.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I think Kiefer gets this done in round 2, right? Because I think the guy, if you go in and roll it out for the first round and then it doesn't really work and Kiefer's kind of sussed what's happening, especially if you're saying a jiu-jitsu black belt there, he's more than likely going to be looking for the ground, and he spent 10 years there. But
well, I've seen to get the belt, to get a black belt, you know, he's well versed in that, so he's going to go towards his strengths. I can see Kiefer tagging him early. I can see a panicked takedown attempt from Hugo, and either a reversal or those elbows against the fence. He finds them every fight.
Absolutely.
And I think you'd be crazy not to think that Kiefer will not finish more fights like that before he's finished.
No, I definitely. Yeah, and this is one of them where we're probably calling it straight before it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was calling an elbow finish against the fence like this.
Yeah, I know.
You know, here we are. And then you have it. Like I think a fight that could have been on any UFC main card back in the day, or guys that we probably stayed up to watch ourselves when we were still rolling through trying to get there. You know what I mean?
Remember Benson Henderson, us talking about the time that he got. Well, I love Benson Henderson. I think his style is great. But the time he got kicked, that Showtime kick, we were all talking about it the next day in the long mile on those yellow mats about to start our 10 5-minute rounds sparring.
10 5 minutes. That's it, to the death, like.
To the death.
To the death.
But what I love about this fight, you got 2 guys who, like, extremely talented, both on the feet, but extremely well-rounded fighters, top of their sport. So you have to look at all the other factors that come into play. You got Benson Henderson on a 2-fight win. Is it a 2-fight win streak? I'm pretty sure. But then you got Miles Jury's making his promotional debut. That's huge because you've looked at other guys who make their promotional debut, including Benson himself, who have not shown on that night. Miles Jury, wonder what's his mindset going into this. You know what I mean?
It's hard to be. Do you reckon it's hard to be motivated for these guys because to them, I think that when they're signing, they feel like they're kind of at the later stage of their career, and maybe this is like retiring to stud if you must. You know,
I don't know. I think some people make that transition from the UFC to Bellator because it suits their career better, suits their money better. There's a lot of things, but it's different. If you're used to fighting in the UFC, that's a different promotion. Now you might have got used to that. You might have got almost comfortable in that environment, but now you're in a different show, and then you have that added pressure. Like I'm sure Benson, when he lost his promotional debut, he probably was thinking, oh my God, everybody's expecting me to win. Is Miles Jury kind of feeling that pressure too? I think Henderson takes this. I think he's too well rounded. I think it'll go to a decision. I don't think fans should expect a finish in this, even though you got two highly skilled guys, but that skill will probably cancel each other out. I think it'll come down for tit to tat. I think Henderson has more split decision wins than I've ever seen before in my life, so I think he'll eke the decision out on this one.
But there's damage on that, isn't there? On your record when you've got
There
split
is.
decision. That means it's being close.
But I think like a real true fight fan will want to see this. They'll want to see every little moment on this, every jab that lands, every failed takedown attempt. Everything adds up in this, you know.
No, we do. I agree with you with that one. And then Benson Henderson is dangerous everywhere. You know what I mean? As well as Miles Jury being dangerous.
Yeah, I'd love to see Benson throwing up more submissions because when he throws, he has really good submissions off his back when he does end up there. I think he could be way more aggressive. He has like a very calm approach in that southpaw. Because he's southpaw, he's not there to get hit as much, but it kind of makes him a little bit more complacent to go for the big takedowns that he's so good at. I think he's not lazy. I think it's a little bit of, he tries to stay a little bit safer. I'd like to see him go at it a little bit because he's such a good skill set that he could break many men in there, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he always comes in, he's an athlete, isn't he?
Super
He comes in
athlete.
ready.
Yeah.
So here we have the main card. So 3 cards on the main card here. We'll start off. So you have Ryan Scope, Peter Queally, Michael Venom Page, Richie Queally, and then of course James Gallagher versus Roman Salazar. Is that
Salazar? I think
Salazar. Yes, Salazar. So we start off with Ryan Scope and Peter Queally. Obviously, this is like, to me, this is like 2 tractors fighting each other. Everyone's saying that.
You got 2 guys that are like around the scene a long time. We all know these guys, but they're so skilled, and I love the respect that both of them have for each other. Ryan Scope for me is, if you were writing a K1 manual or a Muay Thai manual, you take pictures of Ryan and that's going to be the finished product, that picture.
He's the crazy kid face, isn't he?
Yeah, and he has like he has such quality technique. So does Peter, but Peter has like certain parts of his game. Firstly, no man has done more rounds than Queally. He's seen it all in there.
Yeah.
But one thing about him, he has a small bit unorthodox in his stand-up. As in, like, he reminds me of, like, say, you know, Gennady Golovkin?
Yes.
Gennady Golovkin will throw, like, 1-2, go, well, he just goes, bum. And then in round 2, he'll go, bum. It'll come after.
Change of rhythm.
Yeah, Queally is really good at that. He's deceptively good at, like, changing the rhythm. He utilises his reach a lot. He's got ridiculous kicks. When he throws those kicks, you don't want to get kicked again. Like, so you're gonna, you know, he can upset your rhythm with that.
There was a time he broke his leg in the basketball arena in the 4th round, and he still fought on.
Yeah, he's the toughest.
He broke his face and fought on. So if you're gonna pull the tough card,
he's the toughest man I've ever met. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Simple as that.
You know, he's tough. Do you know what? He's mentally tough as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've a lot of time for Peter Queally in the aspect of he fucking mans up and takes on the chin. You know what I mean? When it goes good, when it goes bad, and whatever it is. And even if he's to be held responsible for something, he takes the responsibility.
I'm happy to see these 2 guys on a main card. Yeah. I'm happy to see these 2 guys pitted against each other from a fan's perspective as well. It's going to come down to who has the better game plan in my mind. You know what I mean? You know, none of these guys have left anything to chance. Right. For me, and I'm just being like, I'm seeing it from a closer perspective. I can see Queally, the work that he's put into this camp has been more than any other camp I've seen. And this guy's a workhorse. I've seen Ryan Scope say it's Instagram and all that, so it's only Instagram. But he's doing a lot of heavy work too. It's going to be, I think it'll end up primarily on the feet because Scope is really scrambly. It's really hard to take that guy down, and even harder to keep him down. Queally's a nightmare to take down.
And he'll keep going.
You know what I mean?
He's a diesel engine.
I don't think either guy will take a shot. I don't think it'll be done out of like I'm better than you on the feet. I think it'll be done out of like trying to be smarter with your game plan.
Yeah.
And I think that it'll be who lands the better shots on the night. You know, I think Scope will probably look for more volume while Peter will have the power.
This is one of these fights where we're going to be looking at two guys, one of them bleeding, sitting there looking at each other, trying to get the other guy out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fucking excited for that one.
Have you ever seen, can you think of a better man, maybe Philip Mulpeter, than Peter Queally to be in that position?
No.
There's two, you know what I mean? They're the kind of fights that I think
Robbie
Peter...
Lawler.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But you're pulling some names out of the air.
Yeah, you're literally pulling a legend out of
You're going to be pulling legends in there to be kind of match them up with PR. Yeah,
so,
no, absolutely.
I think if the more that fight goes like that, it probably favours Peter. But that's me probably not being fair to... Maybe Scope has that in him. We haven't seen it yet. Like, you know what I mean? He's been just so clinical in his fights.
Yeah, but as I said, and the moment of this occasion might bring that extra bit of fuel for Norway, not today, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to imagine that both guys are going to be so hungry. Like, Peter was disappointed with his last performance, and then you have Scope, who, you know, he lost out very narrowly to Patricky Pitbull, which could have went either way. I scored that to Scope.
Okay. The co-main event. Now there's a lot of criticism about this fight and all. There's a lot of like, do you me having this? Let me tell you one thing, right? Hats off to Richie fucking Queally, right?
Absolutely.
If you're gonna call for a fight, you might as well call for the best one. You know what I mean? And the idea in management wise, they should be saying, listen, let's take another step. Yeah. But he's not. He's calling for the straight. What I have to say, I give my credit where it's due, and I give him credit for that for sure.
I give him, like, I got on really. He's so fucking funny. He's one of the funniest lads. He made a comparison to himself of we were talking about Ben Askren, and I was like, I love Ben Askren. He goes, I fucking hate Ben Askren. He's just a really irritating lad with a dad bod. And he just paused for a second. And he goes, actually, I think I'm describing myself, am I? But anyway,
but then you have Michael Venom Page, which is accuracy. And we're going into this fight, right? We've got Richie Queally that's done some kickboxing, and then we have Michael Venom Page, who has done some kickboxing.
Yeah, it is that way, but you know,
Michael has been fighting since I think he said at the press conference that he fought Richie Queally's coach when he was 16.
No way.
Yeah, so he's been fighting for a long time. Now, saying that, as I said, Richie Queally coming out has that power behind him as well as. Fuck that. I can go for you here. Now, if he hits Michael Venom Page, he might highlight the fact that Michael's a little bit panicking. So Michael's carrying the ball of like, this is easy, this is going to be simple kind of thing. I've said this is what I'm going to do. And Richie's carrying the fact of no fucking way.
Yeah, I know, and I know what you're getting at and saying there. And I was thinking, I wonder if MVP, will he feel the pressure? He's 10,000 people, but you know what? I don't think so. He's probably the coolest, calmest guy I've seen in there. You know, I think whatever he wants to do, he'll, like, as in the way he wants his body to move, he'll just let it do. He'll do that. You know what I mean? He's very loose in there. That's the perfect word. What you said. Queally has it all. You know, he has it stacked against him. Let's be honest, he's a teammate of mine. It is, you know, obviously my heart, I'm going, come on, Rich. But if someone goes, right, put your money down now, put your house on this, I probably have to put Michael Venom Page's name on the betting slip. But anything can happen. They're 4-ounce gloves. What worries me in the sense is their physical size. Venom Page is an enormous reach.
Yeah, and that's the distance I think is going to be the thing in this. To me, the way Richie Queally could win this fight is he has to make this a dog fight. He has to drag it into the...
Absolutely.
If he stands there doing a stand-up match with Michael Venom Page, Richie has good power in his hands as well.
Yeah.
But the accuracy and the length, I think, is the difference in this fight. To me, I'll have to pick MVP on this as well.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the kicks that are going to be utilised are the ones that come straight out the middle, like the Anderson Silva kick.
Yeah. But I think if there's any man who has seen kicks that can deal with that, it would be Richard. What I'm kind of like, what I would be trying to do, like Richard, turn it into a dogfight, but I'd be trying to make the third and fourth punch count, not ones and twos. It's not going to work against a guy who was like an 84-inch reach or whatever he has. You got to get in with the jab. You probably got to take a jab and then you got to give a right hand left hook or something along those lines, or maybe a double right hand, something that's unorthodox, you know, or because if you're going to go. Like, we forget that Venom Page, as flashy as he is with his kicks, he's a pro boxer. He's a really good high level with his hands. You know, he's really good on the feet everywhere. You know, so but Richard has alluded to the fact that he has got knocked out. He got knocked out in his last one by a very powerful man. How's his chin recovered?
Absolutely, I was going to say that.
You know, and the best in the world have got clipped. So, you know, it is interesting that. But for me, if he was fighting someone of Venom's ability, but probably not as cool and calm and collected, then I'd probably give him a more, I'll give him a really good shout. But anything could happen. Man.
I get what you mean, but that could be if you picked Richie Queally on your accumulator there and you left Michael Venom Page out and everything else out right. That would be the one that makes you rich, isn't it? Because I'd love to see what the bookies are going to look at this one like.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see that because, you know, with a 4-ounce glove, it's probably worth a bet. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, especially when he's coming off a knockout. So, like, how do you make the odds for that one? You know?
Yeah.
And with Richie being so confident,
super confident, and like, you know, some guys will act confident and you know, they'll give off a different vibe when they're actually in there, but he's very loose in there himself. You know what I mean? Yeah. What I can probably see happen in this fight is I can either see Richie going at him like that, turning that dogfight, or him standing off and going, "Hey, Venom, all the pressure's on you. You come to me." And then we'll try, you know what I mean, and try counter.
That would be a bad idea. I think he'd pick you. I think he'd
so long that he'll pick.
He just has them kicks. You know what I mean? That go up, turn, and he can control his leg like
he has everything,
like a jab nearly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as I said, like, and Richie going in there with the fuck attitude. You know what I mean? That's the key, I think, to this fight, and the idea of going at Michael Venom Page. If he hits him, he puts him into a situation where he's on the back foot, and I think that could blow up a balloon of doubt in his head, if you must. You know what I mean? Because no one goes in there fully confident and fully known, and if you do, and then it goes wrong, it goes wrong.
I know. And then like I did pick out a little snippet from an interview with Michael Venom Page. He was like, you know, obviously I take every fight serious, but he kind of was alluding to the fact it's hard to take this one serious, and that could be the banana skin you slip on, or the rock you perish on, or whatever way you want to, whatever terminology you want to use.
No matter what anybody said about this fight, you will be fucking watching when it comes.
It is, and you know something, huge credit. Like I'm not one who talks much, but I can really appreciate that side of MMA. Especially you got Richard, who's 3-1.
3-1.
He's after pulling a 14-1 guy who was probably second favourite to win that welterweight tournament in a division of killers. You know what I mean?
And he's coming off a loss to the champ.
Lima. Yeah, he was 14-0 when he fought Lima.
No, not even Richie as well. Is Richie coming off a loss?
I don't think so. No, I think he won his last one.
But he just fought the champ before that, didn't he?
No, that was Lahore. He fought him.
Yeah, that was his fight before that. Not this fight. He got a fight before. Did you check?
I thought he's won by knockout since.
Yeah, no, I think he might have won, but the fight before that was for another person, as I said, he was calling, which was the
Lahore,
which was Lahore. You know what I mean?
He went in super compromised to that fight. Not that any fighter really likes to use them excuses or anything like that, but you know, Lahore's a top fighter too.
Absolutely,
you know? Someone that
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So then we have the main event here. So obviously there's been a change of the main event. So look,
right,
sorry,
Richard,
before we even go on to it, yeah. So win by punches and a loss before that. So both people are fighting for everything. Am I saying that?
They really are, and it's not going to end up. I can't see any of them shooting at all. I think it's going to be all on the feet, and you know, the casual MMA fan are going to love it. I think anyone who's followed MVP's career is going to be into it. People who are, you know, as an Irish based fan are going to want to see the upset. So a lot of people will be tuning in to see this one.
It's a cracker. So here we have the main event. So £140 on the contract. The main event. So this would have been a bantamweight fight. Am I right in saying this?
Yeah, James is on course to make him 135 pretty easy. Not pretty easy. He's a big cut, but he's professional. But Roman's coming in on short notice, so they've settled at 140. So it's good. It's a good one. It's a great late replacement. I think Bellator. Jesus, I think Bellator have done a fantastic job in getting someone at this level who will come in and to fill a headlining slot, because 13-9. He had 3 fights in the UFC. Am I right?
3 fights now. 3 fights in the UFC, 2 losses, 1 no contest.
One no contest.
One was a finger poke, I think, and yeah. So he 3 fights in the UFC. I don't know how he fucking did that, to be honest.
Don't know.
3 losses in the UFC.
Yeah. Usually get this.
It's like usually 2. And
there's been 4. Matt Brown had 4 at one stage. He was 0-4, and they kept him on, and he went on this mad win streak. So you don't know.
I know. You don't know.
But look at it's
not watching all too, you know.
Yeah, but you got like Roman is obviously, he has a lot of 19 fights, is that right? No, more than that. 13, 9-1. Sorry, 23 fights.
He's experienced.
Very experienced, and he's been in the big show. He's been in, the big lights aren't going to phase him. What might phase him is is the amount of work that he's put in for this camp, that he's only got a certain amount of time. But this can make you super loose too. This can make you go, well, fucking have nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
Here.
That's what I was saying the other day. Now, I'm bringing it down to Roman there. So he's walking into Dublin. He's walking in highly experienced. So if you were his coach, would you be telling him the idea of to lean on the experience or to try and lean on his skills?
Probably experience, because James is super skillful.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, James's grappling is people, like, everyone sees his submissions, but his overall grappling game is phenomenal. You know what I mean? It really reminds me of like a young gunny. That's just that pressure that he has. So if you're going to go skill for skill with him, I don't think it's going to be a good night for you if you're Roman. However, he does have experience. That's easy to see that he's twice as many fights as James. Maybe he could lean on that. Maybe he could drag him into deeper water. Maybe he could put him against the fence and lean on it for 2 or 3 minutes and start taxing James. But it's a long night. I think it'll be a long night, because this is the Jimmy show. Remember, he's been prepping for this for a very long time. This is his first fight on his new contract. He'll want to make an impression here. You know, the bantamweight division, as I'm a part of, was not good not good 12 months ago. Now it's a great division. It's a really good division. He'll obviously want to be on top of that. He want to make a big impression here, headlining and sending this guy home asleep. You know what I mean? So I think James takes it. I think Roman's best bet, his best card to play, is to lean on experience, but I don't think it'll be enough.
I think James when he gets a hold of this guy, I think that guy's going to be a little bit shocked at how good he is, because I think that can happen to people with James, where they're like, oh no, he says this and he says that, and then all of a sudden it's like, he's actually really good. Because James's grappling is like, how long is like, since he's been a kid, he's been dangerous, you know what I mean?
For sure,
and that's
man.
it. And
I remember him like,
it doesn't look dangerous. That's what I think, like my point is. It looks like someone being eaten slowly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't.
It's really gunny-esque, because like, if you look at, say, I don't know, if you look at someone with really flashy jiu-jitsu, it stands out to a normal fan. And if you're trying to say to guy, this is literally one of the best black belts in the world, gunny here, and they're like, yeah, he's not doing anything special, but he really is. His pressure that you can't feel, you know what I mean? How he gets everything. And James is very much the same. Extremely good against the fence. Extremely good when it hits the deck. One thing that I liked seeing in his last fight is he was ended up on his back for a stint. See how good his guard and retention of guard was really good. He's very good from that position too, you know. And again, someone who's working really hard on his hands. So, you know, whether it'll take place much on the feet, I'm not sure. But I can see James winning by submission in this one.
Me too. I think if you come up, if you come from the ground up, it gives you a lot more chance to be able to work on your hands. You know, because even when it goes wrong, you're back in the ocean.
Yeah, for sure. And like people sleep on, not maybe sleep, but people don't know. They're not aware of. People think James, really good takedown guy against the fence. He'll throw shots, take your back, and has one of the best rear naked chokes in Bellator. But he's a nasty footlock. He is a serious guillotine.
He's always had that as well.
Yeah, and people haven't seen it yet.
Serious guillotine as well. Yeah, and his footlock has been like nasty since the day.
Kind
straight footlock, he's straight fucking like everybody back in the day.
I remember him like 15, and he footlocking brown and black belts, legitimately.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, so
and them losing the head over it. I've seen it. But listen, this is gonna be a good card. I'm excited about this. I have to say. We're gonna do a call out just so you get them all back. So we'll go back to the start and I'll ask you one by one. Right. You give them. Get your duck. Get your. Do
you want rounds or just
get your duck? No, we don't want to make them that rich.
Yeah,
we start picking rounds and all this. So
3 minutes 20.
We'll go from Dylan Logan, Adam Gustab.
Yeah, I'm picking Dylan here. I think he's too well versed, and I think he takes the win. I think he finishes. That's the big part of it. It's not going to go to the decision.
Blaine O'Driscoll and Jake Handley. And we know Blaine O'Driscoll is an animal.
He is. Jake is extremely good.
Jake's tough as well, but no better man to be fighting him, I think.
Yeah, you've got two really good guys coming head to head here, but I'm going to put my money on Blaine. I know it's another SPG guy, but he's my boy. He helped me prep for my last fight. He was excellent.
He's been a training partner of mine for many years, and not only that, he's a top dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's straight up. He is. So then, so we have Blaine as well. Then Philip Mulpeter and Keith McCabe.
Yeah, look at it's. I'm cornering Phil, so obviously I'm picking Phil.
Yeah, I'll go with Phil myself. Chadwick and Karl.
I think Karl's lack of experience, but his excellent skill set will see him over the line with this. I think that he'll clip. I think he'll TKO Lee in either round 2 or 3.
Ilias or Vitalic.
I think you're going to see the biggest knockout of the night here by Ilias.
By leg kick.
Could be like that. No, I think it'll be like you're asleep for an hour.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think it'll be vicious.
Jez, get the Sambos out. Ryan Roddy and Patrick Pitilla
is actually very experienced. He's a really good. I think he's Finnish. He's actually very, very good. But Ryan, I've been training with him, and the progression he's made in the last year has been insane. And he's one of the guys who really can. He delivers on the night. He really performs. I think he'll do that now on his Bellator debut. Well. Yeah.
Richie Smullen, Sean Tobin.
Richie by submission.
George and Kieran.
I think that's a decision, but I think Kieran will take it, but I think it's a hard-earned decision, and I think whoever wins this one will turn a lot of heads because it's going to be a battle, I think.
Absolutely. I think that's another contender for fight tonight for me. Camilla and Danny.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm picking Danny. I think she'll come out. She'll be aggressive, and she'll get the job done. It could be a decision, but I can see her TKO on her. She's just one of those girls who just doesn't stop until she gets the job done.
So tough. Danny's so tough. And then we have Franz Malambo and Dominic Wooden.
Oh, literally 1,000 ways this could go, but I'm going to pick Franz by guillotine. I'm going to be real specific with that. But I think Franz by submission, yeah.
By submission?
Yeah.
Nice. Leah McCourt and Kerry Hughes.
Yeah, like I said, I think Leah takes her down. She capitalises on the mistake she made the last time and she learns from them. I think she gets the TKO victory by ground and pound.
I think Leah has the entitlement of the win as well in her. You know what I mean? Because she does so much for it. She cuts no corners.
For sure.
This is going to be good. Norbert and Will.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one of how it'll finish. I think Will win by TKO. Whether that's a TKO or he hurts him on the feet and finishes him, or whether he gets a reversal, or whether he gets a reversal or a takedown himself. I think he could put him against the fence, beat up Norbert and take him down and beat him up.
That's an interesting one as well. Kiefer Crosby and Hugo.
I'm picking Kiefer by round 1.
I'll go Kiefer too. Benson Henderson, my old jury.
I'm picking Benson by decision.
Well, I think that's a funky one.
I like Jury though. I probably didn't talk about Jury enough. He's super well rounded.
That's what I mean. And I think Jury is kind of like that. He's a tractor too. Do you get what I mean? In that style.
Yeah.
And Benson is kind of like smooth.
Yeah.
So you've got like tractor and silk here.
Yeah. Silk is the right word. Well, especially Jury's silk too. He's like a really good grappler.
Yes. But he's the tough. He has that toughness in him. Not that Benson doesn't, but Benson's a little bit more. Like the martial artist for me, you know what I mean? Yeah,
out and out of the martial artist.
Ryan Scope and the Sow, Peter Queally.
The Sow. I think that's a decision, and I think Peter takes it either 30-27s or I think Peter takes the unanimous decision.
I think if anybody goes to a decision with Peter, if you won it, you're a fucking hero.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're a different man coming out there. You have a lot of experience.
And then you have obviously Michael Venom Page and the Richie Queally fight.
Yeah, the betting man in me is picking Venom, but I am fingers, toes crossed for Richie because I love that guy and I wish him the best in it.
And then obviously the main event. So James Gallagher, we'll have to get the round and this decision off, or the round and finish off.
I think James Gallagher round 2 submission. Do you want the type of submission?
Guillotine.
I liked Guillotine in this with his other opponent because that guy creates a lot of scrambles. I think he takes this guy down. I think he beats him up. I don't think the guy is ready for it. He takes his hooks and sinks in the rear naked again.
Yes.
Because he's goddamn so good at it, you know what I mean?
I like it. What do you think we get used to this, man?
This is nice.
This was great fun.
Did you enjoy that,
I really enjoyed that as a fan.
Robin has his betting slip and all.
Yeah, he won't be back on Monday. He'll be loaded.
Yeah, he's going to have 5 of them filled out. Like, what was that you said, Brian?
Oh no. Just before we wrap it up, a little bit of housekeeping. Really? So you mentioned some names there. A lot of fighters have previously been on the show. I'm just going to list their episode number.
Absolutely.
Just for anyone that wants to know a little bit more about some of the fighters.
It's always better to know and have that story linked before you go there and fight it. It is though. It's always having that emotional attachment.
Yeah, you're
so
more invested into the
check
fight.
them out.
So Philip Mulpeter, No Shame, episode 36. Danny Nealon, All the Way Back, episode 2.
And our brother Alex.
Alex was on as well. That's a great one for nutrition. Leah McCourt, episode 21. Will fucking Flurry, episode 83. That was good fun as well. Kiefer Crosby, episode 18. Peter Queally, episode 19. And the Strub Animal, James Gallagher, episode 42. And of course, arguably most importantly, He's not on the card, but Brian Moore.
Pikeman.
Episode 39.
Call him the Pokemon boy next.
Yeah.
The Pokemon, you fucker.
Oh, you didn't even get that right. So I seen it, I was like, what's he on about? I was like, oh.
Yeah, Pokemon.
I think that
Pokemon.
That
The great-
Pokemon.
That could stick. It could stick.
As I said, great thing about all of those fighters is they're all characters in their own right.
Absolutely.
And there's definitely someone who'll be able to relate specifically to each fighter.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage anyone listening who doesn't know about these fighters to check them out.
Yeah, and I'd even add to that, make sure you check out the guys, the likes of Kieran, Danny, the guys who've been grinding that you just haven't heard of yet.
Yeah.
Because you're going to want to be there on the night that they made their debut and they made the time where they made that first little ripple in the water to go on and do something big.
Last question for you. Who is a fighter that's not signed for Bellator that you think should be signed for Bellator?
Oh, wow, I never even thought of this one. God damn it. You know something, if you ask me like when the cameras are on, I'd probably tell you 10. But I'm panicking now. Let me see. I can't think, Paddy, off the top of my head. I'll be honest with you. Let me see. No, I can't think. I'm really sorry to let you know. No. Who do you think? Maybe...
There's a few, I think. Reece McKee.
Oh, yeah, Reese. He's been... Do you know who I'd like... Sorry, yeah, Reese. I'd like to see Philpott.
Philpott as well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Paul Hughes.
Paul Hughes, really good.
Strong guy as well.
Yeah.
Fucking slick. I think anyone else. I'm trying to think of someone else. Because there's a few diamonds in the rough there.
There is, and there's a lot of guys, on the local level as well that could slot onto this card easily. You know what I mean? We're in a good place in Irish MMA, thank God. You know what I mean? So
it's growing. It's getting back there. So the Bellator event is on in the Tree Arena. Tree Arena, still Tree Arena.
Tree Arena, yeah.
Club called the O2. The Tree Arena on Saturday night. So if I don't know, can you watch it on telly? Oh, Friday night, is it?
Friday night, yeah. Friday night. Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a weird one,
It's
isn't it?
starting at 4.
How weird is that?
Yeah, I know. You know, it's always been like I love Fridays because I get to get home and have the weekend with the kids and all as well. So it's brilliant for me.
suppose, yeah.
But it starts at 4:45. A load of people who I've sold tickets there were like, "Oh, I'll see you up there at like 8." And I'm like, "No, you'll have missed half the show. So be up there for 4:45. That's when it kicks off. And don't be one of these lads who strolls in before the co-main event. Be there for every one of these guys because it's such an entertaining card, and you want to see every one of these guys perform. They've put in like Trojan work, so they deserve it.
Support the fighters, as they say. Support the fighters. That was episode 95. Am I right? That's the first time I ever got that right as well.
Good job.
Look after yourself.